my
You,
God.
you made it out alive. We were pretty scared.
Well, when I cut out and I screamed, I'm sure I probably like made you guys go back because it was so loud, but I hit a rock and almost tipped.
Well, we kind of laughed. I'm not going to lie.
I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at my phone.
You're usually not supposed to use your phone while you're driving, but I haven't heard much about kayaking. But
yeah,
I did that too when I was walking, and I hit like a branch that was full of water like the other week, and it like smacked me in the face full of water.
nice.
What's going on, Julie?
Hey, not too much. How are you guys?
Pretty good. How was your vacation?
Oh, it was great. I mean, now I'm starting my new job and that's really fun. So
How's it been going this past week?
it's been really good. Like
Good.
I'm getting to lead on some big projects that the government's doing, and it's like, oh my gosh, I get to this is so cool. So I'm really loving it.
Congrats. No, well done. And honestly, like a big congrats to all of you guys for sticking through this for 6 weeks. Like I'm so proud of you because it's not easy. We've had some people drop out, but then get back on and watch these. So honestly, I'm so thankful, and I can't wait for your feedback. But for the past week, what kind of things popped up for you guys when it came to like the values and priorities? Was there anything new after you actually did it once we discussed it that popped up that you may not have thought of before?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I think I realized that before I was like very regimented with my workout. So it was almost like kind of like, this is the rule that I have to follow, and realizing that I want to move much towards like values of like positivity and like loving my body and like excitement and like, oh, I want it to be like a joy, not like a chore of like, oh, like I gotta do this and I really don't want to. It's like trying to find a way to bring myself to a place that it's like a privilege and a joy, and I think just thinking of it less as like, you know, another thing on my to-do list and more I'm excited to do.
Oh, that makes me so happy. And you've got some pretty exciting training stuff for July. So this was a really good fit for you to kind of push forward with. So I'm proud of you. Anybody else have any values or priorities that kind of popped up that you're like, huh, didn't think of it that way?
I think I can relate to a lot of what Julie said about just enjoying it more as opposed to like, well, it's like I have to do it, and if I don't, it's almost like you punish yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I filled out the fit values, like my top 10, I was surprised at what I chose versus what I maybe would have liked just even, you know, a year ago.
What was your top 2 or 3?
Consistency, fun, and health.
Oh, I like that. Do you have a pair of headphones, Heather?
Yes, downstairs.
Just pop them on just because you're going in and out. Did anyone else hear that, or is it just my computer?
You know,
no,
what?
it's
my laptop. I don't know why. I have to be like right here.
Yeah, so now it's better. So grab a headphones. Karen or anybody else, anything kind of different, which was kind of cool?
It made me reevaluate everything I'm doing in my life to fit those values. No, but
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like just when I did the values and priorities, then all of a sudden I thought, okay, well, why the heck am I stressing about that? Because that doesn't fit this. Yeah.
I love it. Anybody else kind of bring in like social media? Because I know one of our ladies that's doing this privately felt that a huge impact was social media, that she actually focused on that a lot. And then after doing the values and priorities, she's like, I hate it. And then there was a big uplifting moment for her. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I totally want to talk about that, because I think before, and I think like maybe early on in your journeys, it's like a lot of women want to follow like very pretty, fit women that are aspirational on social media. And then like I've seen so many accounts of people who are fit that are like, oh, this is a photo of me when I'm like posing the right way, but this is me sitting down. And you know, you see like the roll of their stomach, and you're like seeing like accounts that are more real, that are like, oh, like, you know, not everyone always looks like that. That's like a post photo. And just realizing how so much on social media is literally fake. Like it's just like the best version, the best photo, the best angle. Like nobody looks like that all the time. And so kind of like not following those accounts anymore of like, no, like I don't aspire, like not aspiring to be those people, and also like not appreciating their values. Like they're like they're profiting off of people that are like, oh, like I want to look like you. And it's like, I'd rather follow someone that's like, here's the real journey of being fit. Like you can look like this and this when you sit down, or, you know, like
when you find those like accounts, send them over, because I've got a few that are really, you know, inspiring too. And I completely agree with you. And I had that moment of frustration with online a few times this week as well. And even for myself, I thought, wow, it is a different avenue on there and how people promote themselves, obviously. And I found that people aren't very educated and they can get away with it on there. So I completely agree. And hopefully with this course where you're aligning with your values and priorities, it's how much time are we spending on that? And what are we getting? What education or what value comes from social media? You can get a ton from that. And then maybe it's taking some time or an audit each week and looking at saying, okay, what value did I get out of social media? What are my priorities? And, you know, who is in line with it? Or am I following stuff that's just wasting time? So hopefully some of you guys kind of connected to that one, because that one popped up my head after one of our ladies talked about it. Anything else? Like, Harneet, did anything pop up for you for values and priorities at all?
Yeah, I think when I like identified, it was similar to like what Julie said about how like when I realized what my values were, it made it seem like it was easier to kind of do the things that I wanted to do. Like it didn't seem like a to-do list. Like I wasn't forcing myself to do things that, I don't know, weren't in line with the values that I have. No, it was good to kind of like, it's more of like a positive way of like looking at things.
And honestly, your transformation, you sent me the picture from a year, and we might like post it in the private group. It is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like I
almost wish, like, as good as like the physical transformation is, like I want to take a picture of like my brain because like I feel like the way that I thought of myself back then to like where I'm at now is like way better, like a much better progress picture or whatever than like the physical.
Put some like words. We could do that if you want to send it. We could
that's a good idea.
we could put some words across all that stuff. Like we could take your photo and put pictures like or words on the left for what represented that person, and then on the right we
I
can.
like that. Yeah,
I've seen a few people do that. I thought it was really cool. So
okay, yeah,
let's do that. Anything with when it comes to your fit list and like sticking to it, where we had the top priorities, the 3 things, did that help this week at all? Did you find it was easier to get the top things that you were trying to achieve done, and then you kind of let other things out or cut things out at all? Did anyone do that?
Yes. I couldn't find my headphones. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You just got to like go right up into the thing.
My nostrils. Yeah, you know what I always do is I always get up and I have like 30 things in my head that I feel like I have to get done. And it's in my head now that the minute I get out of bed and after I've had my latte, it's my exercise time, because I will fuss about it all day long.
Yep.
If I haven't done it and I get doing laundry or I get doing work on the computer and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden it's like 2:00 in the afternoon and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't got my workout in. Now it's hot outside. Like, so for me, it's like I get out of bed, I have my latte, and then I go for my walk. I listen to my podcast while I'm walking. I come back, do my weight.
I love it. Yeah. And you know what? That's like, could be a really good 30-day, like for July, and say, you know what, when I wake up, I time block, and that's the time. And you obviously you're doing computer work and stuff. And you're like, I don't get to go do that until I've actually done this, or some reward that you really enjoy doing. I would say is let's kind of make a reward thing happen, whatever it might be. It might be like reading something online or whatever it might be. Even for me now, I'm like, no, I'm working out. And then I actually get to work because I love working. And I'm like, whereas same thing, time goes. And now I'm like, nope, I got to get up early because when the gym opens, I'm going to be the first one there. And you'll laugh too. So I literally packed my gym bag, I kid you not, and I put it by like the door.
No.
So it's like I'm giving birth, like I'm delivering a baby, like I'm ready to go. It's right there. Like
the minute
it might be there like 6 months. Let's hope not.
So funny.
And anything else that popped up from last week before we go into the last week's content? Nothing? Fantastic.
I just, so like, you know how we were talking about the fit list, I kind of liked the 3 things that you accomplished or that you were proud of for the day. I'm not a morning person at all. So for me to wake up early and like to make a list for the day, I can't do that. But like to kind of reflect at the end of the day, I found that to be a little bit more helpful.
And you know what? That's perfect that your morning routine is going to be different, and we just focus on the evening, and it's even making that list the night before, right? So that can feel really good. You're going to bed and you know exactly what you're doing when you wake up, can be very helpful too. But everyone's very different, but I like that. So for this week, who opened up the PDFs? Did anybody not get it from an email? Because we had a few. Oh, nice one. You printed it. Everyone got it?
Yeah.
Good. I think it's just Kathy. Kathy never gets the emails. But it says it's sent, but apparently I'm sorry, Kathy. So I apologize if you didn't get it. So has anybody ever done the character strengths, the survey online before?
No.
I've done all of those surveys. I've done like
You've done the 24 character strengths?
well, I've done like my aunt does like emotional intelligence for organizations and businesses.
Yeah.
So she like will like, you know, do these surveys to people and figure out their strengths and weaknesses. So
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 you've done the VA survey.
I love this stuff though. Yeah.
So what I'm interested, if you've done it online, do you have an account with them? It is free. So you might have your old strengths and see if there is actually any changes, which rarely does happen, but it can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So check it out and see. So when we do our character strengths, I gave a link. So you can actually do this online. It makes it a lot easier that you just answer these questions and then they will email you. It is free, but to get your results, they'll email and you get to see what your top strengths are. So whether it comes to like fitness and training, business, and just life in general, knowing what our strengths are can be so helpful. Or we can realize, ooh, that's one of our bottom strengths. It's not a weakness. It's just not the top. And then we can kind of sometimes see, maybe we sabotage ourselves, whatever happened, we didn't get our workouts in. You know, we can kind of look at our weaker strengths and say, did any of those pop up? And that usually is the case. And then it's not to say, oh, we're terrible people or we're weak. It's just, that's not a strength. And that's something that I have to work on. And it just makes sense. So here is the list of the 6 top ones. And what I would do before actually going in depth is when you read these, is there one that pops out that signifies who you are, you think? You can go ahead and just pop it out because we want to see if that's what ends up being your top strength.
I think love of learning is one of mine.
Yep. Yeah, wisdom and knowledge. I would put you at wisdom and knowledge for sure. Yep.
I think I'd pick perseverance.
You'd be perseverance, courage. Yeah. Yep.
Humanity.
Yeah, that's you. And Julie?
Yeah, mine's courage.
Yep. I would put courage in humanity, but that's probably just because I know what you did for so much for your job. So it's really interesting to see, whereas we can all have aspects of these, but there's one that we're like, oh, that's totally us. So we want to try and see if we can bring that. Let's do the actual testing to see. There might be one that you're like, I didn't know, or I didn't realize that I actually have a strength in that. And how can I use that in my day-to-day with my diet and my training to make sure that we do stick to our goals? So obviously you can go to positivepsychology.com, read about it more. I put the links in, and obviously do the VA survey. It just makes it heck of a lot easier than trying to do it yourself. But here are some ways that you can start to look at what your strengths are, and by just kind of going through these types of scenarios. So it's your childhood memories and looking at what you remember as a child that you really love to do. So is there something that you can think of right now in your childhood that you absolutely loved, and you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it gets my heart when I think about it. Is there anything? Mine. Swimming. And you're doing it now, which like, you know, you're fully into that, which I love. And that is a total strength of yours.
Yeah.
Anything for anyone else that pops up with a childhood memory that, you know, that you could look back like that was totally me and it's still me today, or something that you wish you brought in?
I think being outside for me.
And your business is all about being outside. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Anything for Harneet or Julie that pops up?
I think the same. Like I used to play outside as a kid all the time. So now doing my workouts outside, I actually enjoy that so much more than being inside a gym.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, like, well, I think of, I don't know if this is even relevant, but like anytime with animals, like whether it's like outside in nature in the forest, or it's like hanging out, like my sister volunteers at a farm sanctuary and she gets to hang out with pigs and things. So I'm like, oh, like, you know, just finding, I guess, fun ways to incorporate like, animals into my life and be active. It's like,
Totally agree with that one. And you guys are all what you loved and you all smiled when you talked about it, right? So it's knowing that, okay, how can I bring that into my day? Is it a hike? Is it something outside? And especially now being inside and all tablets, let's definitely bring some of that outside environment, which is honestly every single one of us is talking about being outside more, which is pretty cool. And then when it looks at energy, so we just want to think of what makes me happy, what makes me buzz that moment. It could even be going for a coffee with a friend, but just what gives you energy. Everybody's very different. And we want to think, okay, that's filling up my cup. So how can I bring more of that into my day to day? Or is there a certain thing that brings me energy, long lasting, that I can use the rest of my day? And a lot of us might be like, I don't really like doing cardio. I don't really like walking, but I do get this pleasant energy buzz at the end. That might be something that we want to connect to bring into our fitness. And then authenticity is what makes you feel like it's you, that what's making it true to yourself. And you start thinking of your childhood memories, that might be pulling you into your authenticity. Is there anything else that you guys think of that what you're doing, you feel like you are 100% you, or you're very confident?
Everything.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of Heather, what you said, like, I feel like it's been a process where more and more it's almost like, I mean, I'm probably not at Heather's level, but almost all of me is like getting to be authentic. And I think it comes from just like life and experience and realizing you're enough and the real you is enough. So for me, it's like almost everything now. It's a, you know, it's a learning curve. So
Yep.
still ongoing, but yeah, kind of almost everything.
I love it. And if we are feeling off, we know it when we're not being authentic or we're just kind of having that little shift mood. It's usually we're just not in line with our values and morals. And that's really where we want to be authentic, is draw into that. And that's that confidence factor. And obviously ease, whatever's easy it comes naturally to you. Obviously that's a strength. So there's something that is very easy. We want to bring that into your day to day. So Karen, for you, swimming is pretty easy, right? It's effortless, right? So like Heather, like what's effortless for you?
Oh, what's effortless for me? Like when it comes to fitness, does it have to be fitness?
No, just in general, because we can bring that into your fitness. Whatever you find easy, we can.
You know what it is? It's helping other people. Like it's always putting other people ahead of myself, which is kind of,
yeah,
you know, leads back to like putting myself first. But I also look at it as a good thing because
yeah,
right?
Yep. So that factor in fitness, you can say, I find it very easy to help other people and support them. Yep. You can bring that into your fitness, what you're doing for your business too, right? Harneet, anything that you think you're like, yeah, that's totally so easy?
I'm gonna like do the fitness thing and say running. Like I have been good at it for a long time. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't mind incorporating it into my workouts. Yeah.
We'll be putting a lot of that in, especially the gyms aren't open.
Yeah.
And since you said you love being outside, you're getting a lot more. And Julie, what do you find easy?
This is really getting me to think. I'm gonna have to write about this more, but
yep.
I think what brings me energy is other people and like other like-minded people. And I think so much of my fitness journey was very solo, like going to the gym by myself and like, you know, updating friends and family, but like doing things very solo. And it's almost like what comes easier is like when I love going to like group yoga classes or things.
Yeah.
So just thinking about like, it's really nice when you're like physically in the presence of other people that are, and I mean, that's why I love the gym so much too.
Yeah.
Even solo, you're like, you feel camaraderie with everyone that's there. Like we all came for the same reason, you know, we're all here together. So I guess just like, it's more natural and fun for me to go to a group thing versus like, like a solo workout in my apartment. Like
I absolutely love that. And that's what we can bring in, right? And it might not be every single time you're at the gym, but it could be that group yoga class. And you're like, you know what? When I get my 3 workouts in, that's going to be a real nice treat at the end of the week or the beginning of the week to set my day. I think that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And then your to-do lists, right? So you think of, you never write it down, but you end up doing it. And that's not just brushing your teeth, but it's just these things don't get much thought and we just do them anyway. So there are things in our day-to-day that we do, don't take much notice, and it gets done. It could be a breakfast meal or something. It could be making a coffee, right? So there's things that we do every day that's not on our to-do list, but we still get it done. And that does show a strength. So what is it? Why do we do it? Right? So why do we brush our teeth technically? Okay, well, it's because I want to be healthy. I don't want to pay like more money to get my teeth done later in life, whatever it is. For me, it's like I only get one set of teeth, otherwise they're fake. So I'm going to make sure I brush my teeth, right? So think of those things that you're doing every day that you don't write down, but you're still doing it. That's a strength, and you'll be interested in what you come up with. And then visualize. So you can ask like a best friend, you can ask anyone here, and you're like, what is my strength? Like, what do you see? And they might see some things that you actually don't even kind of correlate to, and it could just kind of open up some new experiences for you guys or thoughts. And then there's your VIA survey. So you guys can click on that. You just have to set up an account, but again, you don't have to pay for it. And it gives you, like, it emails you your answers. So do it and then let us know and put it in the group if they were completely different or if it was exactly what you thought before you took the test. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Harneen, I'm sorry for this, but there is some morning writing for you. But this is like I know, but it's
like,
a workout.
I just can't. Like I literally wake
Right.
up and I just have to like go to work, or like I just can't think. Like I just have to like.
You could do this like midday then. That's okay. Like
Okay.
that's fine. Or put it in your car and you park and then you just write it. So I usually have like a journal in my car, like right on the side, and I actually just like pull it out, and I usually wrote something before I went into the gym. But here's just like your grateful workout. And I know a lot of us have done gratitude journals or done this in the past. We usually do it and then stop it and then do it again. That's totally normal. But we want to do it for a week. And what you're going to notice throughout the week, you might have a consistent routine that kind of starts, or a pattern, which is great. But doing this, we just start to get used to it. And then you might notice that on a Wednesday or Friday, it just seems to be a pattern that's a shitty day, or I'm tired by the end of the week with work and I'm frustrated. Then it might be that Friday is my grateful workout day, right? So it doesn't mean you need to do it every single day, because it will get anonymous. Like I threw out my 5-minute journal after about a month because I was like, I'm writing the same thing and I'm not grateful for it anymore. So I would say do it for a week to get in a routine. And then you just might notice that Sundays are just your hardest day. And let's pull this out to make a difference. So writing 3 things that we're grateful for. You know, what 3 things are you looking forward to that day, right? So there's so many things going on, there's some disappointing stuff too, but there's always something we can look forward to each day, no matter how small. Might be just like snuggling your puppy. Like, I'll write that down. That's always nice, right? So those things we want to write down in a powerful statement. So one statement that you can use to get you through the day, whatever it might be, we just want to be honest to ourselves. No one else has to see it. And then your cool down by the end of the day, what made that day so great? And obviously what could have made it better? It might be like, everything was fantastic. Don't need to do anything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do a lot of you guys do great, like gratitude journals, or have done one? I assume you guys have all done something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody continue to do it, or?
Yeah. I write every night before I go to bed.
Yeah, you're a fantastic journaler. Yeah.
And I
feel like I always start them and then I do well for like 3 days and then I forget, and then I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then it just doesn't happen. And then a month later I try again, and same thing. And yeah.
Yep. It's like, that's a habit, right? It's so hard to create any new habit, especially if that's not something that we're used to doing. And like we said, for audio might be a great thing that you, instead of writing this, you could actually just do it on your phone. That you could speak to your phone and record it and delete it. It doesn't matter. Or just say it out loud. That's perfectly fine. Yep. And then this one I thought was pretty cool. And it definitely fits. Okay. Was it Heather? Yes. This one's perfect for you. And I'm really glad that you talked about it, about helping other people. So when it comes to fitness, obviously when we're able to help other people, support other people, it feels really good. And we always want to kind of just be a part of other people's lives in some way, and giving back your fitness education, your knowledge, or what you love, and to help somebody else. And it could be, a brother, a sister, husband, whatever it might be. We can give back some of that knowledge and feel really great about ourselves. And it also helps us stay accountable, right? You guys help me stay accountable. So what will you do? What is it that you love and you feel that you could teach somebody? It doesn't mean you have to have like the fully educated to be able to talk about it, but it could be your husband. It could be your parents. You might learn something and just want to express maybe a new recipe, whatever it might be. But what can you give value to somebody else? Who is it going to be? And how will they change as a result? And oftentimes we're in this fitness mindset, family members aren't. We can't change them completely, but what is it that you think that they could, you know, benefit from? It might be like supplements, right? So that's one thing that I've really helped my parents with purpose, is supplements, and making sure that they're taking their glucosamine and certain things as they age. So that's really what I do for them. And they've really changed as a result. Their joints don't hurt so much. I'm like, fantastic. At least I've done that, because I'm never going to get them off cheese. Like, no chance. And then it's kind of fun. You can create your own fit card. So however value you want to do, you kind of just write what your purpose is or what you want to do. It might be for your kids, Karen, right? Some new healthy recipes, or teaching them swim, whatever it might be. It's just something that we can give back, and have a think on that, because it could be vastly different. Or it honestly could be that you post like a social, like a healthy recipe, right? It could be that you devote like a Friday to healthy recipes, or like a workout or something. I don't know, but you could post in the Fit Bunny wall. If you're like, I do not want to post it on social media, but I want to teach something that I've made or something, you can totally put that in anytime. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does anything pop up for you guys that you're like, oh yeah, I could definitely teach this, or want to start talking about with friends or family?
I think I get a lot of questions from friends and family about healthy eating. Like, people think they're eating healthy, and then when you start talking to them about it, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that those weren't good for me, or, you know.
Yep.
I would love to go to people's houses and go through their cupboards with them and show them how, you know, to read their labels. And
Yep.
we're up at that cottage this weekend, and the frosted flakes and like the cereals and stuff that were on top of the fridge. Susan's arguing with her husband because he's on medication for diabetes, and he eats bread like crazy, like all this stuff, right? And he's like, I'm not diabetic. And I'm like, Bill, you're on medication for diabetes. That means you're diabetic, right? Like, get talking to people and educating them on stuff, and it's just like, can't believe you've got 5 boxes of bad cereal on your fridge and you're taking medication for type 2 diabetes, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's just, you know, trying to educate them, but being tactful about it, so you're not offending them and making them feel like,
yeah.
Right.
And that's a very different avenue. It's like it's my brother. He'll buy cornflakes because it's healthier, and then put 5 tablespoons of sugar in it. Like, legit. But they just have this whole different viewpoint of what's healthy. Yeah. And it's teaching them little small things that can make a difference. And your blog too, Heather, will be fantastic for this, right? Yeah. And then especially even with work and everything that you're doing, sometimes it's really nice, probably with your staff. You guys probably talk about fitness quite a bit, or diets, or that kind of stuff, I assume. It's like a daily conversation.
It is.
So that might be something that, you know, I hear a lot of times, like, oh, let's do a little challenge, or, you know, let's do like a water challenge. Anyone up for it? This is what I'm doing, or I'm focusing on this for the next like 30 days. Anybody interested in joining, right? Sometimes there's a little sign up and little things like that you can obviously help within your workplace. That might be an option. Don't know about Julie, about you starting out, but you totally could.
For what, sorry?
For your work. So there's always options depending on how close you are with your employees and stuff like that, but bringing some fitness kind of fun things into that work environment.
That's such a good idea. I really like the idea of like a water challenge. I feel like one of the first things I learned working with you, Jill, was like, I was drinking like 1 glass of water a day. Like I was just living off of like sand and dust.
Yep.
So like, I think water is like just a huge, it's like a basic, it's a necessity. And I think it's a really fun thing where it's like, oh, like, even if people don't drink much water, it's like, yeah, like I'll try and drink this much water per day for a week, and whoever can't do it donates like $5 to charity. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's such a great idea.
A lot of people like that, you know, accountability, but it's something you're doing within a group. It's kind of nice. And if honestly, nobody really wants to come up with their own challenges. If it's like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll give that a go. You know, and even in like the workplace, it can be a lot of the kitchen things that I've had to work with a lot of clients, where they're like, there's donuts, there's all these things in like the kitchen for staff, like the staff room. And they're like, I just can't help it. So sometimes it's saying, hey, you know what, can we put the donuts, or can we put something in the fridge, and we'll put a Post-it note so that we say for the people that want it, that it's in the fridge, it's in the cupboard, but you know, we're trying to be healthy and it's helping us, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do and kind of start to create a really nice fitness environment without, you know, offending other people that don't want to be involved in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end, this is the third PDF. We want to look at what's holding you back. So is there anything still holding you back? Obviously there might be, this isn't like 100% fix. I wish it was, but there might be still things that you're like, you know what, I need to work on this a little bit more, but I've had some awareness. Now we want to focus on it. So first, I want you to list all the reasons why you believe in your fitness goals, whatever they are, and then list the reasons why you believe in what you're doing. Like, why is it important to take your supplements? Why is it important to do, your weights and eat clean, whatever it is, or go to sleep on time, right? Why you believe that. And then we want to look at what is being fit to you, and does it make you feel vulnerable or scared? So does anybody know anybody else, or even for yourself, that you're like, yeah, you know what, being fit can kind of trigger some vulnerability or feelings of scaredness? Does anybody get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that kind of pops up in general when it comes to being fit? What kind of pops up for you?
For me, it's getting the attention I used to get when I was younger and more fit.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I lived in Toronto and walked to work, I'd walk past construction sites and you get the hoots and the whistles, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think I still need to figure out, because I know having ended my marriage,
Yep.
like those things are on my horizon, like getting into other relationships, but I know that it also is holding me back because I don't want to get hurt again.
Yep. That's a huge awareness, Karen. And we're going to work through that with the next few pages, but I'm proud of you anyway for everything that you're doing. And Heather and I are here. We were here last year to support you. And honestly, you've grown so much this past year in yourself.
Yeah, I never felt better.
And it's,
but I trusted the wrong person for way too long.
Yeah. It'll be weird when you start dating. I'll admit it was weird for me. So it was weird. And Luke wasn't the first person I dated. I dated some very weird people, like legit. I'll tell you two stories because why not? One of them, I had no idea where geographically anything was. And the guy's like, I'll take you to Cambridge for ice cream. I didn't know where Cambridge was. So I was like, sure, right? Cambridge is like an hour away. Getting in a car with someone I don't know ended up being like crazy. He started crying because he wanted me to meet his family. This is like the first date. Like I met him like eHarmony. And then he was mad and like he was driving everywhere. I'm like, okay, I just want to get back home because it's like an hour and a half drive. And I said, I need to get back. Like I'm meeting my friends for a party. Like, I don't know. And he takes himself into like a self-serve dry clean and car wash. I kid you not. And then he opens up his phone and he starts crying because he didn't get a job promotion.
Oh my gosh.
So that was one of the dates. And then the other one, some guy was like a politician and he asked if I wanted to go canvassing for a first date door to door.
Okay, I'm never dating.
Find these guys on .com or what?
Oh, is eHarmony?
That's hilarious.
Wasn't very good. So those are some date stories. Karen, you're good. Trust me, I got some more as well. So, and you know what? The best part, if they're off, you just call us and we just laugh about it because I need some new material. So, and then going through this, how do you compare your fitness to others? So Julie, that's what we talked about on social media, is looking at, are we comparing our bodies? Are we comparing our fitness abilities? Often when it comes to sports, sure, we are comparing ourselves to other athletes. And when we're younger, that's normal. But it seems that we bring that same aspect into our bodies, which, did we ever do that as kids in health and fitness and sport? Not really. We just said, were we the fastest runner? Right? So we want to look at, is this helpful or is it harmful? And it's an easy question to ask, especially social media and comparison. Is it helping you or is it harming you? If it's harming you, then we need to make a change. So that's one question I ask myself with a lot of things. Do I want to respond to like a comment? Do I want to do things? Is it helpful or harmful? And then when you look at the list here, I kind of put some basic ones that I think a lot of people might have when it comes to fears or judgments when it comes to fitness. So Karen, you already had yours, so I would definitely just pop it in on the bottom like sheet there, but go through this and you might think, yeah, you know what, this is something that's vulnerable to me, or, comparing myself or whatever. They're not excuses, but they're limitations that we're holding. And once you get it, basically this is the old sheet I just redid it in a different way. So I'm making your brain think differently. But we're going through those questions so that when we think of something that's unhelpful, we're going to kind of try to defend it. So, and you're 100% sure, whatever that statement you put on the bottom, you're like, yeah, this was my fit fear. You're just going to fill this out. So you guys have seen all these questions before. Is there evidence that supports it? I think it was in week 3. Does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just fill that out, you know, and I would say use this one or the other one, whatever one looks better for you for a table for the future. But let's look at if there's any fears that are still popping up. And literally within 30 seconds of you filling that out, I think that we can kind of kibosh that fear that you're having. And that's the rest of it. That's the 7 questions. And then time to reflect. What I want you to do, I can't even read the topic because it says stop sharing. What does the question say? There we go. So just take a little bit at the end, and you want to look at reflection from the past 6 weeks and look at your values and priorities. So that was one of the most important things of the course. And what are you going to use going forward? So what values and priorities and strengths that you have that you've gained that you're going to bring into your fitness, bring into your business, bring into absolutely everything. I wish you would just hold it at fitness. And then what tools are you going to use? So go through the past 6 weeks, the tons of PDFs, the tons of, you know, worksheets, and pick out the ones that you're like, this one really resonated with me, or this one was the most helpful. Because there's no way that you're going to continue to go through out each and every one, but there's probably 4 or 5 where you're like, yeah, this one definitely hit home for me, or I really enjoyed purge letters. And write a little list of things that were most beneficial to you, so we have them on hand when we need it most. Or you can write, when I'm down, this sheet was really helpful. Or when I need to reflect, this is helpful. Or, you know what, once a month, I'm going to tackle this reflection sheet to make sure that we're congruent with our goals. And then we're continually auditing ourselves as well. And then what I want you to do is look at 5 years from now, and we'll all be there. We want to celebrate your fitness. We want to celebrate your life. And I'm going to give the toast, but what do you want me to say about you? So that's just something to kind of sit back with and be like, okay, yeah, this is what I want someone to remember me by when it comes to my health, when it comes to my fitness. Is it, you know, in the past where we thought, yeah, bikini competition, I want someone to toast me. No way in hell I would want anybody to say that, because that's just not me. And I know that I'm worth more, right? So, but 5 years ago, that's what I'd want. So we're going to look at and say, okay, for the next 5 years, we're focusing our fitness and our health. Where do we want to be? And our most loved one or myself, I'm going to give you the best speech on earth, but what did you want to accomplish then? Does that make sense?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Any questions or anything? Any reflections or any like sheets that you saw so far that were like the most helpful?
Funny, the one you had 2 back, where it was talking about like, now I can't remember what it said, but basically like what you want to, oh, can you go back to that?
Sure
I have
can.
them written down.
That's
so
okay.
Not that one. One more. Oh no, it was back further. Anyway, it
I
kind
think hey, I shared the screen, so.
the vulnerable scared. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
when I did that try like
Yeah.
with Karen this week,
Yeah.
doing it on my own, there was no pressure. It was fun, right? But
Yep.
if I had done it, like, because I had looked into doing one in this June, but then Steve and I were talking about being away. We didn't know COVID was going to happen and all this, right? So if I had signed up and done that one, I would have had all this pressure on myself to feel like I would have had to hit a certain time or beat certain people, you know, and there was none of that. So like, I still pushed myself when I did that on Tuesday, and I had so much fun with it. So now I'm going to do the one, I don't know if I can do it in August, Karen, but I'm going to do the one maybe in July for the sprint, because my girlfriend's going to do it with me. Because I was telling.
Oh, that's good.
So my girlfriend Danielle was supposed to do an Olympic try in September that she had started training for. And then of course, COVID. So what did she do? She stopped training.
Yeah.
Right. So so when she saw my post, Karen, she's like, oh my God, like maybe I should do one of these with you. And I said, well, let's do the sprint. But I said, we might be away in August, that weekend. So we're going to try and do it at the end of July.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
but
that.
No pressure, and it was fun, right? Where
Yep.
I think in the past when I've done stuff, you always put that added stress on yourself that you just don't need to, because the only person you're competing with is yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's hard as an athlete. That's very hard. And that's like, you've had such growth with that, right? So, you know, whatever sport you play growing up as a kid or we're athletes, we're the biggest competitors, right? And if we're not going to do something the best of our abilities, we're not going to do it because it kind of puts that weakness or fear that we're not good enough. Like, I totally get that. But you doing it for yourself is the most important thing. And that is like a true growth of an athlete, because not many people continue to be fit, be healthy for that internal motivation. And you've just done it. Whereas most people pick a goal external, I'm doing it for this, and then it's kibosh. But you've literally found that beautiful goal where you've connected it to internal, which is for you. And that's long lasting. Like, that's huge.
I can thank Karen for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never would have done
We'll
that.
all be doing Ironman next year.
What?
No.
What? Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack just thinking of that. That's a long way.
Okay,
It's
you
the-
need to tell me what an Ironman is before
It's a full marathon at the end. Like, don't even get me wrong. Like, I would die. Like, I don't even know how much of a swim it is. It's like 1.5 miles swim or something. I'm probably wrong.
It's a 4K swim, 180K bike, and then a
180K
full
on the
marathon
bike.
run.
What?
Yeah, then you run a full marathon.
Like, you do this all at once?
There's like a 16-hour limit. Like, when I was training for one, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. Literally, like, there's a guy that picks up the cones, and like, if you buy the cones, they kick you out because it has to be like 16 hours. I would never make it out of the water.
That's a lot.
It's great. You know what, Karen? We'll support you. Any other kind of reflections or anything that kind of popped up for you guys?